Ivan Pavlov was born on September 14, 1849, in Ryazan, Russia. As a kid, he attended a church school and theological seminars, which gave him somewhat of a jump start on the idea behind science and psychological aspects. However, he was inspired by the ideas of Charles Darwin and I.M. Sechenov, the father of Russian physiology, and gave up his theological studies in favor of scientific pursuit. Pavlov then studied chemistry and physiology at the University of St. Petersburg, which led him to receive the Candidate of Natural Sciences degree in 1875. He then enrolled at the Imperial Medical Academy in St. Petersburg, completing his graduate dissertation on the centrifugal nerves of the heart in 1883. After graduating from the Imperial Medical Academy, Pavlov studied under cardiovascular physiologist Carl Ludwig and gastrointestinal physiologist Rudolf Heidenhain in Germany and Poland. With Heidenhain, he devised an operation in which he created an exteriorized pouch on a dog's stomach and maintained a nerve supply to properly study gastrointestinal secretions. He then spent 2 years at a laboratory in St. Petersburg where he researched cardiac physiology and the regulation of blood pressure. In 1890, Pavlov took charge at the Department of Physiology at the newly created Institute of Experimental Medicine. He was also named Professor of Pharmacology at the Imperial Medical Academy, and 5 years later was appointed to its vacant chair of physiology. During this time, Pavlov focused on the activity of digestion in dogs, implanting fistulas in their salivary ducts to record the effects of the nervous system on the digestive process. Pavlov's observations led him to formulate his groundbreaking concept of the conditioned reflex, also known as classical conditioning. In his most famous experiment, he sounded a tone just before presenting dogs with food, conditioning them to begin salivating every time he sounded the tone. For example, at Northwest, we as students have been conditioned to expect a fire alarm every time we hear the air conditioning stop or slow down. And just how like when dogs hear keys jingle and see their owner walk in, every time they hear keys jingle they get excited. In each example, an unconditioned stimulus results in an unconditioned response. Next, a neutral stimulus is repeatedly paired with the unconditioned stimulus. As a result of the pairing, an association between the previously neutral stimulus and the unconditioned stimulus is formed. Then, the once neutral stimulus becomes known as the conditioned stimulus. The conditioned response is the learned response to the previously neutral stimulus. In this video of the original experiment performed by Pavlov, this same process is performed.
As this original footage shows, Pavlov was initially interested in digestion and the action of the salivary glands. By diverting the saliva of dogs into test tubes, he could precisely measure if and how much they salivated during digestion. When food was presented, the dog salivated quickly, an inherited salivary reflex. But over repeated testings, a strange thing happened. The dog salivated before contact with the food. Just the sight of the food was enough to stimulate their drooling. Then, just seeing the food dish, or even hearing the footsteps of Pavlov or his assistants, was enough to trigger this built-in reflex. What was going on to elicit this response? Pavlov decided to find out by systematically varying the stimuli and measuring the dog's reaction. Metronomes, lights, and bells were all used as stimuli, and they all worked as stand-ins for the food. What mattered was not the kind of stimulus that was used, but the fact that it reliably signaled that food was on the way.
Pavlov published his results in 1903 and then delivered a presentation on the experimental psychology and psychopathology of animals at the 14th International Medical Congress in Madrid, Spain. For his groundbreaking work, Pavlov was named the 1904 Nobel Prize winner for physiology and medicine. He received many awards in later years. He was elected Academician of Russian Academy of Sciences in 1907, and in 1912 he was given an honorary doctorate at Cambridge University. He was also awarded the Order of the Legion of Honor in 1915 by the Medical Academy of Paris. Later in life, Pavlov applied his laws to the study of psychosis, arguing that some people withdrew from daily interactions with others due to the association of external stimuli with the harmful event. Although he was notably dismissive of psychology as a pseudoscience, his research helped lay the groundwork of several important concepts. In conclusion to Pavlov's incredible devotion to psychology, he continued to work in his lab until he died from double pneumonia, which is an infection that inflames air sacs with liquid in both lungs, on February 27, 1936, in Leningrad, Russia, only 13 hours away from where he was born.